Since we were made from the source of creation, all of life mimics the creator. And we see this within the patterns of existence. The creator extends itself into every single part of life, into every single part of existence. So even the atoms contain the energy, contain the pattern of the all. We don't yet understand the multidimensional reality of the atom, but just within our 3D reality, just within from our superficial perception of 3D reality, we can see that pattern. You have the protons and neutrons, or the center or the brain of the atom, the main portion of the atom, and then you have the electrons that orbit or its extensions, right? Then you have a cell, which has the nucleus, and then you have every part of the cell that plays a part in its life. The organelles are like the extensions of the nucleus. They are powered by the brain of the cell. Every part of the cell has its own function, has its own job in maintaining the larger function or the life of the cell. Then you have the organ, which are also made up of similar types of cells that make up its function, right? Then you have the organ system, which are different organs that maintain the function of the organism, right? It has its own, they all have their own job to maintain the function of the organism. They're extensions of the organism. Then you have the planet and its extensions, which is all of nature, including ourselves, right? And life on this planet. Then you have the planetary system, which orbits the sun, which gives it life, right? The planetary system are extensions of the sun. And we can keep going further and further out, right? Or get further and further smaller, like whatever. It goes in all directions, you know? And this is just from a physical 3D perspective, you know what I'm saying? There are an infinite amount of ways to perceive the all within the all. It's like the Russian nesting doll, right? Or it's like a fractal. It is the fractal that never ends, right? And this is the structure of who we are as a whole, too. Our larger soul continuously extends itself into these realities, just as it was extended from God, you know? And we are one of those extensions of our larger soul. We are a creation or a manifestation of our larger soul that has taken on its own form, right? And we create in the same way. Our ideas, every single thought, right, extends from us and has a life of its own, whether it's fleshed out into the 3D or not, right? Every single idea has life, you know? It is not inert just because we didn't live it out within this system of reality. Somewhere, another probable self is living out the idea that we didn't take on ourselves, you know? And all of this is happening simultaneously within eternity. We can jump into or visit different manifestations of the soul. An example of this travel is past life regression. Past life regression is not a distant memory, right? It exists within the eternal, so it exists within the now, right? Because there only is now. Time is a construct, because that's how it works within our system of reality. And if you've seen or you study past life regressions, you'll see that they're not remembering, they're living. They're living the reality of a different self, you know, or a facet of the self. And it's not foreign or scary to our consciousness, right? We are in connection to every part of the self, whether we understand that or not, whether we are physically aware of it or not. The now is eternal, so every moment is eternal. And just like we're connected to every part of the self, every part of God's creations, right, are connected to each other. Every person, every being, everything that was created by God has a space within the mind of God, has a home within the mind of God, because we are the extensions of God, right? So that makes us equally and infinitely valuable.